turn the music off. I'm just gonna turn it down real low for right now while we talk.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me on Zencaster?
No, it's probably my settings. Let me check them. No,
Well, what's up, guys?
anything
You guys that are here early, thank you for joining. We are just getting everything set up. You can hear me now? I don't hear you very loud on Zencaster, but it could. I don't know why.
Alright, let me mess with this too. Check.
It's a little bit better.
Let's see if I just need to crank the levels. Yeah, they're low. Check.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, now we're good.
Check. Good? Sounds good?
Yes, now it sounds good. How do you change that?
Sound settings?
Oh, on your computer?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in Zencaster.
No, it's because this isn't usually hooked into my laptop.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, our setup's a little different today.
Yeah, I have no internet at home. So I'm here at work.
It makes things a little more complicated when you don't have internet, when you're doing a podcast that is recorded over the internet and streamed over the internet.
It does. But yeah, we're still going to talk about podcasts today. And other discoveries.
At least in slobs, you're clipping just a tiny bit now.
I'm clipping? Okay, let me drop it.
Just a tiny bit.
All right, you watching the levels on slobs? Check.
Yes, I am.
Check.
Can you go back
Check,
up just a
check,
little
check.
bit?
Check. Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
That's getting close.
A little more than that? Yeah,
Just
it's
a
just barely
tiny
down.
hair.
Check.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
So
I
yeah,
think
let me
we are actually ready.
turn the music off. Bye, Billy. Thank you for the music. Loved it. I'm actually going to keep it open so that maybe between, throw it back on.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But yeah, we got
me go
Zencaster ready. Got the notes. Got all the notes. I didn't write down the name of the episode.
La
Was it like-
Casa Matusita.
Yep.
By the way, spoiler alert, it's a real place. I looked it up. There's pictures of it. I'll throw it in chat.
Ooh, I did not know there was pictures of it. I mean, I kind of assumed, but I did not take the time to go do that. So I'm intrigued to find or see some pictures of this place. It sounds like a spooky place. There was a lot of stuff that went on there, not just like one thing. There was multiple things that went on at this place.
And I mean,
yeah, we're gonna talk about all this.
We'll talk about it.
Trying to look at
already finished downloading Among Us, so that's the plus side of it being a tiny game.
It is nice. All right. Well, I guess let's jump in. We're a little bit late starting because of the difference in setup, so I guess we can just jump in.
It was a little bit of shenanigans.
Me. An echo on my voice. Oh man. What do you think that could be from, Zach? I do have Skype muted. Echo.
You should only have the one input.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can hear.
Here, let me say some words and you monitor the stream if you can. How now, brown cow? How now, the brown
Problem is,
cow?
I can't hear anything on stream. That's super weird. I'm sure people can hear it.
Yeah, it's showing the levels. Well, I appreciate you pointing that out, Toxic, for sure. Don't want to get halfway into a stream and not realize that the audio is not perfect the way that we want it. Hello? You hear anything yet?
No,
Oh, there is an
it's
echo.
Not,
Anything yet?
no,
Oh, there is an
It's
echo.
not letting me listen to the. No,
Oh, there is an
It's
echo.
not letting me listen to the
Oh, there is an
strain.
echo.
It's not letting me listen to the strain. It's not letting me listen.
Wait a second. I don't have it playing anywhere else. But there is an echo. It doesn't sound good. And you can't hear it at all still?
No, I can't hear it at all. So yeah, this has been super fun so far.
It's usually not. Let me deactivate this mic. Activate it again.
I mean, is there another input for you anywhere? It should just be your main like mic input, right?
Yeah, there was just that one. Let me check it. Nope, still sounds weird. I sound like a robot. It sounds like a robot, and I don't know why. If I turn this camera off and restart it, am I gonna have to start slobs all over again?
What do you mean by turn it off?
Like, because that's what I'm using as the audio interface for the mic.
I do wonder if you would have to
This is a giant turd
restart.
burger.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna have to happen if it's like not listenable sounding. And I cannot hear the stream. I don't know why that is, but my audio is all janked up, so I just assumed that was part of that.
You sound normal, which I don't get why. I'm just gonna restart. I'm gonna try it. Hello. 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 Still sounds weird.
Oh, it sounds weird.
Did you find it? Did you find a way to listen to it now?
It sounds weirder now.
Weirder. What?
Oh, it's because I'm hearing the stream
Weirder.
now. I did figure out how to do that. Stream
Weirder.
now. I did figure out how to do that. Stream now.
Weirder. So you can hear my voice sounding like a robot?
But now I can't hear you in Zencaster. I'm assuming it's just because you reset your mic. You're probably going to have to reset your thing there too. I can hear you. It seems like.
Can you hear me?
Seems like I heard a
Zencaster?
sigh.
Oh, okay. Okay. It didn't show up as one of the options, so I was worried that it was going to be a pain in the butt. Why does it sound like that? God.
I mean, do you have a USB plug so that you could go straight in with your microphone?
Probably.
But here's the thing, though. It has to be something like that because you know what? I bet it is. It's because you're using the camera for so many things right now. Because you don't have multiple cameras, right? So you're
No.
using the camera for both Skype and for the stream? Oh, wait, you're not using it for the stream. You're not doing like a webcam source. You're doing like a Skype.
I've done that every time. Like we played video games the other night just like this.
I don't know, but it sounds bad. And
No,
I
it
don't know
does
what to
sound
do
bad.
about it.
No, that sounds bad. I don't like it.
What to do?
I got some ideas.
That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard, for sure. Hey, thanks for the follow, Toxic. So what are you working on over there? Sorry for the technical difficulties, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to the shit show.
Welcome to the
Updated
shit show.
since-
Hello.
Welcome to the shit show.
Welcome to the
Updated
shit show.
since I
Hey,
had
wait.
no internet.
Hey, wait. I think it sounds normal. I don't know why. I don't know why. Can you monitor? I don't know why. I don't know why. Can you monitor?
It does.
Yes.
Oh, I did. I unplugged it. Plugged it back in.
I can hear it, but it's breaking my brain because it's like looping.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it sounds okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's always a good start. Thanks, IT crowd.
Yeah. It worked.
Once again, can't hear you on Zencaster.
Oh, God dang it. Hello. Zencaster, don't do this to me. Can you hear me now?
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I'm seeing wiggles.
No, it's just because you unplugged it.
Yeah, that was my welcome face. I didn't have my mic on. Thank you for that.
Follow Toxic. I appreciate it.
All right. So if this is your first,
I think this is your first time seeing us actually doing the show. I think you've
I think
tuned in a few times.
playing games. This is
the
the show proper.
The show
This
proper.
is the podcast.
This is the podcast.
This is what we
This
do.
is what we
This is
do.
Where it all
This is where it
started.
all started.
Except for Zach wasn't in
in
an
an office.
where we work.
All right, so I think now
I'm looping. What?
I'm looping.
That I don't know. How are you monitoring Zach? Monitor again.
It is looping.
Why?
It's like a longer echo now. Wait, okay. No. Do you have your stream open right now? Are you monitoring the stream and your desktop audio is on?
I turned it on for a second. But it's not on now.
It's not on now.
I don't know what that is.
Welcome to the shit show. Your first instance
Your
of your
first
voice
instance
is
of your
before
voice
your
is
mouth
before your
moves.
mouth moves.
This is the first time I've hosted the stream on my side. The streamed
podcast.
So I think that's what part of the issues are.
Is it's
used to Zach's settings
on his computer,
which is at his house.
where he doesn't have internet right now.
Not on his laptop.
Where he's at.
Because that I don't know.
This one's weird.
I don't understand what that is. Okay. Check all your inputs, on like this thing right now. Find if there's anything else that's like making noise, because I guess it could be because your audio's fine now. It sounds normal. It's just also like echoing.
And so it's like a long echo?
Yeah.
Weird.
It's almost. It feels like.
Like there's a stream open somewhere.
Yes. That is 100% what it feels like. So I don't know. I know you said there's not, but because it sounds like the other day when Billy's was going crazy.
Yeah. Monitors disabled on this. The thing is, I feel like I would hear it, right? Wouldn't logically I would be able to hear it if it was on. Pre-echoing. What is that even? Like.
Yeah, he's saying that he can see, he hears it before he sees you saying it. I think it's still an input thing. It has to be. Yeah.
Welcome to the Echo.
To the Echo Show, Kelnack.
And to help your migraine come back. It's giving me one. For sure. Wait a second. I figured it out, Zach.
What is it?
Tell me if that worked, guys. I bet you that worked. Way down here on the mixer, there's an NDI source. And it was mine. As well as my mic aux, which was what I normally use. You know what I mean?
That is it. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, no,
Sweet.
I knew it had to be something else that was playing through the stream.
Yeah, and that doesn't monitor through the headphones, so... Okay, figured it out, finally.
Okay.
Thank you again, Toxic, for picking up another faux pas. That is one thing about streaming that's a little bit difficult, is getting the sound right, because it's very difficult to monitor the stream and not mess up the stream while you're monitoring it, because it takes good folks like you to make it not be real bad.
So yeah, now we're ready. After 20 minutes of having terrible audio and technical difficulties, we're ready to talk about stuff.
I promise it's not like this every time.
We really try not to. It's going to be back. It's going to be back to normal as soon as I get the. As soon as I get my internet back. It was very unfortunate. It was working yesterday, and this morning, just nothing. Just stopped doing anything. So we'll see. I'm going to try and get it fixed. Sorry for the terrible experience so far, but now it's time for the normal part of the show where we talk about things. And then after we talk about stuff, we're going to play some video games later. And
yes, it's Tyler's birthday today, so I think that's...
Oh, it is Tyler's birthday. We're going to go by his lead.
Among Us, I believe, is what the plan is. Among Us parties. So it'll be fun.
I'm going to get killed for no reason, repeatedly.
And if things don't work out there, then you need to turn out the lights there at the office, and we'll play the spooky game.
I don't have the spooky game. I'd have to install it, but...
Oh, yes. We've muted ourselves a few times before. For sure. We've been there. All right, I'm going to hit record, get those 10 seconds in, and let's just jump in, because I'm ready to jump in. Welcome to the Podcast Discovery Show, the podcast that's about other podcasts, where every single week we have a deep dive discussion, book club style, about a podcast we recommended last week. And at the end of this episode, we're going to recommend a brand new show, and we'll talk about that one next week. I'm Kirk.
And I am Zach. And we are right in the middle of Spooky Month.
Yeah. Scary
So we
time.
have stuck to what we've always liked to do during October, and that is talk about some spooky podcasts. And Kirk brought one last week that we're going to talk about today called Haunted Places.
Yeah, so I was looking for a new one. You know, I listened to Spooked, one of my favorite shows around this time. But I feel like we've talked about it so many times. I'm like, I need to find a new one. So I did some research, listened to a bunch of shows, and I landed on this one. And the main reason is, Kelnack, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you for that gift sub.
Yeah,
to
appreciate
our
it.
New sound guy. toxic. But yeah, I was looking for some spooky podcasts, and I came across this one. And what I really liked about it was that it doesn't just focus on spooky haunted places in the U.S. Because I feel like there's only so many haunted places in the U.S. You know what I mean? And you hear how many times have we heard about the Winchester house, the Winchester mansion, or whatever? There's so many times. And the one that we talked about on Astonishing Legends, that one's one of the most haunted places in the U.S. So there's a lot of these, just you hear about them all the time, but this show talks about places that are haunted all over the world. So it's awesome. And the host, I'm like, man, I know this voice from somewhere. And it's because I used to listen to the show, I think it's called Serial Killers, and he also does one called Cults. But he's one of the hosts of that show, and he's just got this unique, kind of deep, a little bit of an ominous type voice. You know what I mean? Which is perfect for this kind of show.
It is. Yeah, he definitely adds a lot to the ambiance of the show. But yeah, this specific episode is about La Casa Matusita in Lima, Peru. And it is a house that it sounds like it was the area started having interesting, and by interesting I mean awful, terrifying, horrible things happening on it in the 1600s.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing about like haunted places here in the U.S. We're a very young country, you know. So it's more like, okay, Civil War or something happened here. A lot of people died. What yada yada yada, whatever. But you've got places like this one where you're talking hundreds of years of weird, crazy, bad things happening, like hundreds of years. And this is one of the reasons I picked this one, is because there was so many different things that happened in this same spot.
Mm-hmm.
Literally throughout like the decades and millennia.
Centuries.
Yeah.
And all awful. Like, and through the show they kind of walk through some, but yeah, it's actually named after one of the last horrible things that happened there. And so then he ends up backtracking. And the general format of the show is it's very narrative style, where you have him telling this story. And I feel like a lot of this is based off legend and kind of a cultural storytelling type of thing, because they said a lot of these things, especially the early ones, weren't even in the time of like current recorded history.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a folklore thing. It was something that everybody knew this story about this house and this thing that happened. And so a lot of it's been kind of aggregated, and then also I'm sure embellished, you know, as kind of stories go. You know, they gain new life, they pick things up. But literally the name Matsusita House is from one of the last travesties that happened on this land. And so he ends up taking you way back to the 1600s to kind of start the story of this haunted house in Peru.
Yeah, he kind of like starts it at the end, you know, and then he goes back and which I love, you know. It's a horrible story, you know. This
Oh, it's terrible. It's all terrible.
Japanese guy, the immigrant that had immigrated to Peru with his family, and it apparently there was like a ghost lady that had been haunting him, essentially, but like
he was just really into.
He was into like the ghost lady.
A sexy, fiery way. Like, I think she was literally like, the ghost lady was covered in fire that didn't burn him, and every night when he would go to sleep, I guess it was like a sexy haunting. He's like, I don't hate this. It's not terrible.
They made pottery and stuff. I mean, it was
like Ghost. That's where they got the inspiration for the movie Ghost.
Exactly.
With Patrick Swayze.
But so he's having these weird dreams, and he's seeing this lady, the fire lady or whatever, and then he basically finds out that his wife is cheating on him, and he catches her in the act or whatever, and he kills everybody, and then he kills himself. He kills his wife, her lover, I think their kid, and then himself. It's just horrible. It's a horrible story. But that's how the show starts, and basically this guy was haunted. And why was he haunted? Let's go back to the beginning. And he actually kind of everything goes a little bit, he doesn't go in really chronological order, does he?
I think it mostly was.
Because, yeah, he does jump back.
Let me throw this on here so everybody can take a look, because a lot of these they follow kind of the same path. There's several articles, but most of them, hilariously, most of the articles that I saw about this place are travel articles about
Nah.
like advertising for traveling in Peru. And it's like, okay, I mean, if you want to go be haunted on your
Shoot me that
vacation.
link. I'm curious. I do want to see a picture of this place.
Yeah, I put it in chat. But essentially, they all started at the same place where there was a Persian at the time. So that will give you a sense of how old this was. It was pre-Persia not being a place. And let me find her name real quick. I'm going to have trouble pronouncing it, I know, because I remember it being slightly difficult to pronounce. But a lot, like it says, it's often ranked as one of the most haunted places in all of Latin America, that's a bold statement. So the legend starts with the colonial era. So there was conquistadors, and the Spanish were all in Peru at the time, and there was an immigrant named Dervaspa Parvene. I don't know. I can't. I couldn't remember what he said in the episode, but
Dervaspa
some
Parneva. Parvana.
Par-
Parvana.
Parvana. Okay, so she essentially was accused of being a witch because she did a lot of herbal medicine, apparently, and she would help people a lot. And this one actually says that, like, one of the articles I saw was like, oh, she was part of the occult and like all this weird stuff, and so she was eventually tortured and burned at the stake. And legend is that she cursed the ground and said that no family could ever live here again without, like, nobody could make a home on this land ever again because she was killed. And okay, first thing that this made me think of was the Salem witch trials. Was that at like the same time? Yes, it was. The Salem witch trials were in 1692. So I don't know what
I did not know
about the
that.
like what about the I don't know. What about that time was like hyper religious zealot type things, because that would be like Puritans. That would be very, very old versions of any of these religions. And the Salem witch trials, which I think there was a lot of random stories that would kind of pop up, but was in 1692, a group of young girls in Salem Village in Massachusetts claimed to be possessed by the devil and accused several local women of witchcraft. And then everyone freaked out. So it was essentially a panic-based thing.
Yeah,
It
like
was
hysteria, man.
all the people. There was hysterics, and they started trying to find witches, which, as you could probably guess, is difficult to do. So
No, it's not. You throw them in the water, and if they float, they're a witch. And if they sink and die, they're not.
Yeah, it's
God, the stupid stuff that people thought back then. Oh man, it's just. It always makes me think, what is the thing that we think now that is as close to as stupid as that? Because that's a different level of stupid.
it's very special. And yes, I understand that they didn't have the internet. They had very little education, but still, like, because the one I'm seeing here, so this is one place, one thing that happened. The first person was like the convicted witch was hanged that June, and then 18 others followed, and 150 men, women, and children were accused over the next several months. So this wasn't some little thing. And I was just, as soon as I heard that they were saying, okay, she's a witch, we need to burn her because she's healing people, I was like, oh, so this wasn't like isolated to puritanical early America. It was something that was just a thing. People were getting called out on being witches and executed publicly. That's why I'd never want, like, everybody has that idea of
The good old days.
I want to go back in time. It's like, do you really want to go back in time? I guarantee they're going to think you're a witch and they're going to burn you.
So that's why time travel has never really caught on, because every time they travel back in time, you get killed because you get caught and you think you're a witch.
I do think that is a great idea for a very dark comedy video where you have a time traveler who shows up somewhere and they immediately kill him. The end.
Yeah. So
It's
her murder, her even torture, made me think about the Inquisition, because it's
It's a very weird time. I've never really studied it, and looking back, when I was younger, I went to Europe. Where in Spain, so the Spanish Inquisition. So I've been to Spain a few times, and there's all of these museums about torture, and I always was like, why? Like, it's so weird, and it's because of this time period, and it's just, it's an insane thing that happened, and I looked up some of the stuff about the things, because even what they did to her is they hung her up like by her wrist, because she thought she was going to get hanged, and essentially they were torturing her is what they ended up doing, which that's one of the things that they did. I forget which that one's called. It's strapado. It was a slow, painful torture, and sometimes they would put weights on your like feet to pull you down even more. It basically pulls like your joints, your shoulder out of socket and stuff like that.
Yeah, it disconnects your arm from your body aside from skin.
Horrible. Tormenta de toca. It was basically like waterboarding, but even worse, because they wouldn't just put water down your throat. They would stuff like almost like a thin rag type rope thing into down your throat, and then soak that. So then that's slowly, absorbing the water in your throat. It sounds horrible. And most of this was not to kill you. It was to torture you, to make you admit, like,
that you're
if you
a witch.
were like the Inquisition was even crazy. It was more like, are you not a Catholic? Because like some of these people were killed because they were Jews. Anything that was not Catholic was just murder time. And I've heard the rack so many times. You know what I mean?
I have heard. I have heard of the rack.
Do you know what it is? Like I didn't really know what it was.
I don't. Is that the one where they tie all your limbs up and they stretch you out?
Yeah. So basically, they tie your hands and your feet, and there's like a crank, and they literally will pull you apart. It's very ridiculous that was a thing. Yeah, the rack or the ladder, as some people called it. And then they had, of course, they would burn men's beards off. They would burn people alive. They had a thing called a dry pan, which they would just basically burn a bunch of people at once. People getting their toes pulled off. That sounds not pleasant.
Not particularly good. I don't think I'd want that.
And then this other one about this was the last resort. If they couldn't get you to confess any other way, the last resort was basically they would lather your feet in a very flammable substance and just catch them on fire until they were just bones. So they would burn your feet off, essentially. It's so
that is so messed up.
So this is what happened to this lady. She was tortured and then killed, but hers was because they thought she was a witch. And legend has it that she cursed the ground, like Zach said, and then bad things from then on happened at this place.
And that's the beginning. That's the first terrible thing that happened here. They said that that's not even the most famous one, or the thing that causes the most hauntings at this place. Because they say a lot of times what you'll hear if you're in this place is you will hear screaming, you will hear maniacal laughter, and then you'll hear like complete silence randomly out of it. And then you will get intense visions of violent imagery while you're in there.
Nope. Mm-mm. Don't like that. I don't like that one bit.
I mean, yeah, that wouldn't really be something that I would enjoy experiencing if I was. But I think that if the amount of information about this and kind of the local legend about this is true, I don't think people are just going here to hang out. Like, I think the only people that are going here are going there to see like the scariness of it. Because yeah, I mean, I feel real bad for if anybody. I think that you would have to tell people if they were like trying to buy that house and fix it up. That it's like, this place is messed up. You don't want to be in here.
It looks like a flipping like street corner building. Like
it just looks like an office
maybe
building.
Like even a small hotel or something with the way that it looks. But one of my favorite stories, and it's is disturbing, but it's isn't it the most famous one about the was it wasn't a king, it was like a lord or something, right?
Yeah.
Like a like
Mhm.
a and he was a really like bad guy. Was this the one where he tried to kill his dad and his dad died early or something like that? Or was it a different one? I'm thinking of a different episode. I don't know.
I don't think it's that one. I don't know.
So
Maybe though.
basically, what the legend was that they had spiked his drink with some sort of hallucinogenic, correct?
Yes. That was the legend, that they spiked it with a hallucinogen, and then he went bonkers.
Yeah, so he started seeing essentially like ridiculous visions of gruesome things like cannibalism and really just intense things, and they described it, of course, and it sounded ridiculous. So that's a very famous one, and that's why they were saying, like you'll see things that you wouldn't
Oh
normally.
no, he didn't
Literally,
have a
like,
like. Was that all saying that he just had a vision that happened, or like that was the lore that it happened, that he spiked the dinner party's soup with the hallucinogen, and then the Lord guy, I can't remember what they actually called him, Ferdinand, I think was his name, but the guy who like he was like his master was went completely insane and like eviscerated the entire group of people and was like cannibalizing people.
yeah. But I don't know if it was a hallucination or if it was real. That was the thing. That's kind of like the up in the air part of the whole story, because it's it's an old story that's kind of just passed
Yeah.
down.
It's definitely the legend is that something very bad happened during a dinner party.
And cannibalism is it's just kind of like that. It's so weird and cross the line and unnatural that there's something about it that's just, it's very unsettling to even think about.
It definitely is, but yeah. And this is paraphrased because it's just from that other article. It's just easier to kind of like summarize a little bit. So yeah, they gave him a hallucinogenic plant to try and embarrass their master, who was a jerk. And then after serving the man and his guests the drugged refreshments, they waited outside. Soon they heard laughter, and then they heard screaming, and they waited until the screaming stopped, and they went in, and the master and all the guests had like ripped each other apart. There was just bodies everywhere. And all of the people who apparently were there, all of the servants, were permanently brain damaged, essentially. They ran out babbling senselessly and were promptly locked away in an asylum where they never recovered from seeing that. That's that story, and that's the most famous one about this house, apparently.
It's just crazy. But a more lighthearted one, and this is the one that I kind of want to end on, so it's not too much of a downer, was the one about the comedian going.
Yes, the comedian one is good.
So this comedian wanted to go debunk the legend that this place was haunted, and the story is he went and he said he was going to spend the night there or whatever, and it did not go well. It did not go well at all.
Yeah, he ended up. And what was he? I'm trying to think. Because you're talking about the TV guy, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the TV guy went in there and he did all that, but then didn't he say it was a hoax?
Yeah, he claimed that it was a hoax, that he didn't get scared and not and leave immediately, like after like a couple hours.
Oh, I thought he was saying that the whole thing was a hoax, because okay, the story was that he like got scared, ran out, and then had to go to psychological care for years. I thought you were saying that all of that was like a hoax to like make it seem more haunted. Maybe I misunderstood that.
I don't know. I understood it differently as well, so I don't know. I don't know which way is the right way. That's
Who
what's
knows? But
that's what's cool about a book club style discussion, because that's the way I took it.
yeah, who knows? But yeah, a comedian went in there and tried to prove how crazy it was, and something happened.
Yeah, he saw this like lady that burn him with her nails. It was weird. She would like rake her nails across his back, and it would burn his skin, but yet there wouldn't be any marks or anything like that. And yeah,
It honestly was a kind of a cool story because, yeah, she was like testing his jokes. She's like, tell me a joke. And then if she didn't like it, she would like
scratch him.
scrape him.
Yeah. But so, yeah, that was Haunted Places, specifically La Casa Matusita. That was our first of our spooky podcasts.
And I'm trying to figure out if we're putting a Spanish accent on a Japanese name. I haven't quite figured that one out, but we'll see.
I don't know.
You see what I'm saying? I don't know because they named it after
That's
the
the way
Japanese family.
That's the way he said it as well. So I'm
Yeah,
just
I don't
gonna
know.
lean into it that way.
Who knows? But yeah, really, really great show for spooky time. It's very atmospheric and scary. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit scary storytelling, it's a good one. You can check out real haunted locations and hear kind of a narrative story around them.
And if you listen to your podcast on Spotify, they have bonus episodes that are on Spotify exclusively that I almost wanted to recommend one of those because they're just fun. I love urban legends because they're just a lot of times they're a little bit goofy, but they also seem a little bit more real in some ways. And so they have specific bonus episodes about urban legends on Spotify on the same feed as this show. But I didn't want to exclusively have Spotify episode so that everybody can listen to it.
Where people have to listen to it on
Mhm.
Spotify.
Mhm.
But yeah, they do have an exclusive over there that you can check out.
So, guys, we love podcasts, and we love that podcasts are free. Free stuff is awesome, right? But something that a lot of people don't know, podcasts are not free to make. They cost money. We have to pay hosting fees. We have to pay, specific things like for the recording, like the way we record and stuff like that, as well as equipment and things of that nature. Because of that, we have some really cool and amazing ways that you can help partner with us and be an active participant in keeping the show running.
Definitely the easiest way that you can support the show is just by hitting follow or subscribe on any avenue that you like to use. We're on YouTube. We're on I think every single podcast catcher.
Mm-hmm.
So you can definitely find anything on there and follow or subscribe. It really helps with visibility, and it's an easy way to do it. We have a Twitch channel and we live stream, and it's easy to check us out that way. And you can actually talk to us and call us sellouts when we have these types of conversations. It's all part of the fun. And then we also have a Patreon. I'm trying to think if we have anything else. We have like a Venmo. We have
so many things.
any way that you'd like to get involved, there's an opportunity there. But really, in the end, we appreciate the support by just listening to the show, and we really appreciate it. It's allowed us to have a great time doing something that we've enjoyed doing, and yeah, we just appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we for sure love making the show, and we hope that the show helps you discover new things, whether it be podcasts or science things from the other Discovery show or anything like that. We love discovering things with you guys. So I guess that brings us to this week's recommendation, because it is Halloween. It is Halloween. Halloween, guys. So it's Halloween themed shows. And I have another one. I've listened to this show for a while. It took me a little bit to pick the exact one. It's called Let's Not Meet. Now, did you know that this was a type of like subreddit thing? I didn't know this was a thing until I started listening to the show, and actually didn't.
I think I have heard of that subreddit. I don't like it. I'm not like subscribed to it.
So it's like creepypastas. However, it's supposed to be based off of real things. That's the concept. Granted, I'm sure a lot of them aren't, but you got to suspend your disbelief that all of these are based off of real scenarios that have happened to people. And so it's spooky, creepy. It's more creepy than it is spooky stories. You know what I mean? It's not like ghosts. This is more like creepy people doing creepy things.
But it's supposed to be moderately reality based.
Mm-hmm. That's the idea. And so the episode that I am recommending, it is Let's Not Meet 1. It's season 1, episode 8, entitled "The Attic." So listen to that one, and we will talk about that one next week for our discussion.
Sounds
and remember,
There's always more to discover.
all right.
All right. First one down.
Kelnack
How's
doesn't
every-
want us to be able to have any of our monies to be able to pay for all the things.
It's fine.
We're
I
sellouts.
actually-
He's unsubbed.
Yeah. He unsubbed our kappas. How's everybody's Friday?
Oh.
Kirk,
I'm
how's your
glad
Friday
it's Friday. I'm just glad it's Friday. It's been
going?
an
Me too. I
interesting
do
week.
feel a weight that has been lifted.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
I think it might.
it's a good day. I'm excited for Fridays every week. And then tomorrow we're going to hang out for your birthday
Mhm.
celebration.
Celebrations. Steak and potatoes.
You know whose birthday is tomorrow? Kelnack's birthday is tomorrow. So we have to say happy birthday to him tomorrow. I'm going to say happy
Oh,
birthday to him
Kelneck's
tonight.
birthday is tomorrow?
I'm going to say happy birthday right
Nice.
now, but we probably will be playing some
Maybe.
games around
Yeah, we
midnight,
might be able to.
and it might be tomorrow, and we can say happy birthday to you and be right.
Yeah.
He's healing on the dungeon. Sorry. He's playing WoW, obviously. I get that. I get, if you're a healer, they're relying on you.
Yeah, he can't pay attention. But we appreciate everybody joining the stream. I guess if you want to stay on, Kirk, you can, but I kind of want to go make a beverage.
I need to use the restroom. I am going to throw the music up and put the BRB screen just for a few minutes, like 2 minutes. And then we can talk about the order for Tots. So we will be right
All right,
back.
sounds good.
Listen to some amazing music from our friend Infinite Third, Billy Mays.
Thanks
the
for joining the stream, everybody. What, me cracking a Coke?
Yes.
So did you want to like do everything on stream?
Yep.
All right, then you're good whenever.
All right. Lower this down a little bit. Keep it on while we figure this out. So do you have the OneNote pulled up?
Yes.
Cool.
Okay, so I have. I need to grab the one I saved. Okay. So I have pay with your palm.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is Nellie Bly.
BLY?
BLY.
Okay.
And I guess I'll throw these in chat as we do them.
Yeah. I think that adds a little bit. Cola. Which thing did we say that sounded lewd? There's always the little bit of a lag, so. Here are mine. This is the one entitled Turtle Eggs. So if you want to look at that one. That's not the right link. Nope. That wasn't the turtle eggs one. My bad. This is the turtle eggs one. Other one was Chinese kids.
You did hear pay with your palm, but it's not lewd.
Yeah, the first one is not turtle eggs. It's about something else. That's not that.
They're all about turtle eggs.
Like, there's not a way to edit, right? There's not a way to edit a thing.
I don't know on that
No,
on chat.
I don't think there is. And this last one is Creepy Hack. It's my creepy, my spooky one for the week.
Spooky.
Spooky. That's a weird spooky one.
I have one that's a little spooky.
Oh yeah?
It's not very spooky. There's a spooky part to it, but it's more awesome and interesting.
What's that one?
Nellie Bly.
Oh, you're saying you have one in here already. I thought you were saying you had
Mhm.
a different one. Yeah, because I think that these 4 would be good. That's 5. My bad. I can math. All right, new recording. I'm gonna hit it right now. See if it works. That one time it didn't, but we'll try it. Hey. Looks like it worked.
It worked this time? Check.
Yep, it worked. All right. So yeah, let's jump into the other Discovery show. Welcome to the other Discovery show, the podcast that's not about podcasts. It's the bonus show from the Podcast Discovery Show, and it's about all the other things that we discovered. I'm Kirk.
And I am Zach.
That was a really weird sound.
What was?
Your mic, it sounded like a fart.
Did it?
Yep.
What, when I talked?
No, when you moved it from your hand or your mouth. That's
I don't
it.
know.
That move.
I hate having to hold it.
Yep, it's a suck to hold thing. Yeah, it makes noise every time you move.
Dang.
Is it because of the cords hitting something, you think?
I'm sure it is. So I'm going to try and position this so it doesn't. Okay. All right, so should I say, and I am Zach.
Yeah, go ahead and do that again.
And I am Zach.
And I found a really cool article about how they are combating turtle egg thieves or poachers in Central America. First of all, I didn't know that turtle eggs were a thing that people were stealing.
At first, I thought you were going to say how they were combating turtle eggs. And I was like, wow.
Nope.
They really hate turtle eggs.
Turtle egg poaching. But apparently there's an illegal, like, turtle egg market in a lot of Central America and specifically, like, Puerto Rico and stuff as well. It's pretty crazy. And so they were saying that, like, a ridiculous amount of these turtle eggs are getting stolen before they're able to hatch or anything like that. So, quote, the quote is, in response to this, we came up with the idea of putting a tracking device in sea turtle nests to see if it was possible to see where the eggs were going once they've been taken. And this innovation really sort of came from Breaking Bad and from The Wire, where they placed tracking devices on a tank of chemicals in Breaking Bad and a sound recorder in a tennis ball in The Wire. Essentially what they did was they placed a 3D printed housing as similar as possible to a turtle egg, and inside it they embedded a tracking device, which used a similar sort of technology as your mobile phone, so it's got a GPS and an SMS detector and stuff like that in there. So it would give you a signal whenever there was clear skies or there was, good signal. So these people developed this prototype, and then they got the scientists to basically find the spots they were going to put them in. I really hate what they called them. They called them investigators.
Why a pun? Why a pun for this?
Yeah, so they did it. And they placed 101 turtle in 101 turtle nests on 4 different beaches in Costa Rica. And a quarter of the fake eggs were snatched up, which is insane. That is so many.
Okay, did they talk about why?
Yeah,
what are they
doing?
doing?
They're eating them.
They're just eating the eggs?
Yeah. It's
Stop.
Yeah,
just stop doing that.
Stop it. Stop the thing. You stop it.
No,
you stop that.
There's so many things where it's like, this is why we can't have nice things. Stop eating the turtle eggs. That's not a thing that people want. Nobody wants I need to go grab a dozen turtle eggs real quick for dinner.
So there's a lot in this article. They talk about how far they tracked them, and some of these were like literally they tracked it to like a back alley behind a restaurant, and they tracked some back to like they were like literally selling them door to door on some of these other people. Now this was basically more than anything a proof of concept, because they weren't like trying to bust people yet. They were trying to see if it would work. So the concept was definitely proven. They were able to figure out where a lot of these people went, where they were being trafficked. That was a good thing, is that they were able to kind of get an idea.
Figure out the network.
Yes, exactly. I
want them to be more hostile. Like, did you ever see the video of the dude that made that cell phone?
Yes, the glitter bomb
thing for people. Yeah, for people who were stealing his packages. That's what
the same guy that
about.
did the squirrel. Mark, is it Mark Rober or something like that?
Is it? Yeah, I don't know, but by far my favorite is messing with those. They call them porch pirates, because they steal your packages off your porch. And we'll have to link this video somewhere, show notes or something. He puts 4 cameras on this little mount.
It's pretty great.
And he makes it so as soon as you open the box, it spins and shoots a ridiculous amount of glitter everywhere in your house. And it also sprays, I think, fart spray.
Stink bomb basically.
So because there's 4 cameras, it's literally recording and uploading as it's recording as soon as it happens. So you get to watch the thieves get epically messed with for stealing this. So that's what I think the turtle egg protectors need to be thinking more of. Like, this needs to be very unpleasant if you get caught trying to steal turtle eggs.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Is that why everything's no? I think that's like a endangered species thing, because like, okay, down here at the beaches in Florida during turtle season, there's a lot of like stuff that happens. Like, all the hotels, you can't have the lights pointing towards the beach. So when you're on the beach, it's really dark because apparently it like confuses the turtles who are
Because
trying to
the
look for
baby
the
turtles
moon.
look for the moon. Yeah.
So they make you turn off all the lights. And then there's also they rope off, and there's like literally signs like it is a felony to mess with a turtle nest. So I don't know if that's because it's not as small a problem as I thought. People eating turtle eggs. I mean, who knew that that was a thing that people were even interested in? But I wonder if that plays some part into like kind of the conservation efforts here too.
Yeah, no, and it's I like the approach of, trying here's another thing is if they know that there's decoys and stuff, maybe they'll do it less. I don't know. Like maybe if they know people are actually trying to police it more. And another thing they
Yeah.
were able to pinpoint was when they were taken, because like on a specific type of beach, it was like early in the morning, like 4 a.m. And on another beach, it was like early afternoon, like almost like still daytime. So then you can know when they need to be patrolled, when you need to, check stuff like that. But this doctor who helped do this is looking forward to a career in international wildlife trade. Paso Pacifico is working with local and international partners to explore concepts around the design of decoy trackers for shark fins and parrot eggs, who are two other things that people are doing a lot of, horrible things with. Presently, we're meeting with conservationists who work on the ground on these species, but the design portion is still in very early stages. But it's really cool that they're working together to try to like curb these, really bad types of poaching that's going on. I saw another one today that has nothing to do with this, but it was kind of on the same vein where some conservationists are going to find the rhinoceroses in Africa and stuff. They're tranquilizing them, and I guess you can safely take off the horn of a rhinoceros. So they're taking them off for the sake of so they won't be killed for the horn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and also they've seen that it seems to be a microevolution event happening where a lot more elephants are being born without tusks
That's
for the same reason, where essentially that ended up being their main source of predation was humans trying to get them for large ivory, and so we're starting to see some that don't have uh, large tusks like that.
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I also bonus one that I read it just the other day. They're seeing some interesting microevolutions in humans in that more people are being born without wisdom teeth at all because we just take them out anyways. And then also they're being born with an extra artery in their heart.
So you can eat more bacon?
Yeah. Well, you can eat. You just have to get more stents put in if you eat too much bacon. So it's really working against us. Just more medical procedures. So I discovered something completely unrelated, but interesting this week. Amazon One is going to turn your palm into a contactless credit card. So I don't know if this was mostly started because of COVID or if they were kind of looking in this direction anyways, but Amazon is about to roll out this new technology called Amazon One. And what you do, and it's first gonna start at there's apparently Amazon Go outlets in Seattle. So there's outlets that you can go to, physical locations in Seattle.
Huh.
They're gonna start licensing the tech to third parties as well. And it's just an interesting thing to see kind of how payments could evolve this way. So what you're trying to do is, in theory, with this type of technology, you can link all of your like identification. So your credit cards, your ID, basically anything that you need tied to you and you have to carry in your wallet. Normally you could link to one thing, and that is your palm. And so what you would do is you would walk into this Amazon store, you would link your credit card, and then you put your palm out over this reader. And once you do that, then knows the pattern on your palm, and so if you ever want to buy something, you like just put your palm over it. Done. And they said that it looks for a bunch of unique identifiers in your palm and looks for the most distinct ones to create a palm signature. And a lot of people are using facial detection to authenticate people.
Yeah, like
But they wanted to do this because then they're not part of the problem with people using facial recognition. Because your palm isn't going to be something that like the police could misuse to do anything, or government entities could do tracking and things like that. Because we've seen some issues with that. And so it's just like one of those things. We just covered a podcast about that the other day where it was talking about how often there's some issues with just facial recognition.
It was in Machines We Trust, right? Is that the name of the show?
Yeah.
It was good. It was good.
So yeah,
Scary.
just the idea that automation and data mining, more so than any particular entity, but data mining of someone's physical identity and allowing them to track you across everything you've been doing by your face itself. So Amazon says that they picked the palm because it's not the same thing. Like it's not like your face.
I do like
and
that.
this-
It's the mark of the beast, right? That's
Yes. No, it's
I'm just
no,
messing
but
with
like,
you.
and they
I
also
just
said,
know someone's gonna.
oh,
start-
they 100%. They 100% are. But it's like, how is your palm a mark of the beast? Like, this is a much better way to do it than even like facial recognition, because they said it also requires that you do a thing, not like you walk into a store and the store reads your face and is like, oh, thanks for coming in. Here's all your specific ads. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that would be the future. You know, I feel like the most likely thing that would
like an
affect us
altered
would be
carbon.
advertising. Yeah, it's advertising. They want us to spend money, so they would find your face and try and figure out how to make you spend money. But this requires an intentional gesture, so you have to put your hand over a thing. It's not like accidental. It's not passive. It's you put your hand over a thing. It does that. So honestly,
An actual
not-
palm
we-
reader.
yeah, we won't have to. I like it. We won't. I don't. By the way, if you're wondering, I don't actually like it. It's terrible. But Amazon has its issues. We won't get into all that. But like, I like the idea behind this. You know, I like the idea of trying to get away from what some people have been doing. But I don't know. I don't really know of a better solution. You know, because in the end, it'd be better if we didn't have to carry like a bunch of physical cards.
Yeah.
So it's like,
My biggest thing is it'd probably be a better thing for, security reasons, like your own security. Like someone can't skim your card at a gas station or something like that.
no, they'd have to cut your hand off.
I mean, maybe there's more of that.
It's much
going
more
on.
intense. No, but what I'm saying is if they cut your hand off, they could also steal your credit card. You know what I mean? Like if they're going to that extreme, they could just take my credit card. It's like, look, hey, just take it. It's fine. I'm going to cancel it in a minute.
But yeah, I think that it sounds interesting, and also I'm all for it. Sign me up immediately. Speaking of facial recognition and tracking people, I found an article that talks about Chinese schools creating intelligent uniforms to monitor kids at school. So they've just
This should be interesting.
Yeah, they just came out with new uniforms that will track Chinese students' attendance and location all hours of the day. So China right now is like going through this revolution of watching their citizens and surveillance, and it's nuts. There's also a video that goes along with this article. This is an interesting engineering article, and they did some investigative journalism on, like, there's a specific region of China that they're basically targeting a religious sect of people. I think it's like a Muslim people, and they're kind of it's
I don't
real
know how
bad.
to pronounce that word, but
I
yeah,
can't-
it's
I can't
definitely
pronounce it.
Islam.
Yeah, but so they were saying how, like, and they showed videos and stuff. It looks horrible.
It's really dicey.
To go to the train station, you got to go through like 3 checkpoints. To go to just driving, there's like checkpoints you have to get. They literally will take your phone out and look at your phone, like checking what you've been doing on your phone as at the check stations. And then they also have like a ridiculous amount of facial recognition and stuff like that. But anyway, this they talk about that in the video. But this article in particular is about these Chinese schools basically putting microchips into the uniforms so they can tell where the kids are at all times. And I kind of get some ways in that's a good thing because it's for mainly for smaller kids, not as much for the older kids.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not as extreme as that, but there's like baby LoJack now. Like I think Apple has one where it's like a little thing. Well, oh no, it's not out yet. That's one of the things they're releasing. Is it's essentially it's baby LoJack. Like that's not how they're going to market it, but that's what it is. You put the LoJack on the baby, and then when the baby's out, you can see where it is on your phone. So
Baby
like
LoJack.
I get the thought of like it's a crazy world. We have the technology so that like if anything were to happen, you could find them. Let's go for it. But this sounds like another level beyond that, maybe.
It's pretty freaky because. So I'm going to read a little bit of it. When a student enters or exits the school's grounds, the intelligent uniform sends that data back to both the teachers and the parents. However, if the student feels like ditching school or basically leave the premises without permission, an obnoxious alarm will be triggered, alerting everyone of the student's afternoon plans. If the
it's
student
going to narc on you if you try to
Oh
leave?
yeah, oh yeah. If the student thinks he can still skip school by switching uniforms, think again. All of the smart uniforms are linked to the given child's face. And if a student were to step into the school with a swapped uniform, the facial recognition technology at the school's entrance will alert the facility of the mismatch. It's over
See,
the
and
top.
that's what I'm talking about with the facial recognition. Is like as soon as they know you're there because you are there, it's kind of scary. It's weird.
And I love this is the quote from the principal that uses one of the principals that like is all for this. We choose not to check the accurate location of students after school, but when the student is missing and skipping classes, the uniform helps locate them. I just like, don't worry, we're not.
Oh,
we're
no,
not
we
watching
would
you.
do
We wouldn't do
that.
that. It's just it's crazy. I don't know. It's one of those things like you're in one way you're like, man, technology's cool. This is pretty neat. And then you're like, oh no, this is real dark. This is real scary. I don't like it at all. And I don't know.
No, that's the thing. If you said there's
In a
some
perfect
kind of
world, it could be a good thing, but not
not this way.
not
this
here.
way.
Not this
No,
way.
I don't. Yeah, it's wild. But yeah, it's one of those things that maybe if you didn't know the context of like the current world and you heard like, oh, there's these uniforms that are super smart and they know like when you walk in, they know you're there and everything's set for you. Oh, okay. I like this. So we just got a quote in chat that I definitely think we should share. It's not technology we should fear. It's the abuse and misuse that we should fear. By
Exactly.
Jacques Fresco. Yeah,
That's perfectly put.
yeah, it's one of those things where could it be cool? Could there be cool applications of this technology? Yeah. Is this one of them? Nah, it seems a little.
I mean, think literally about nuclear technology. You could literally power so much more things, so much more efficiently and better for the planet, or you can kill a ridiculous amount of people with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a double-edged sword. Everything. I mean, technology is scary. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely is. But yeah, that's crazy, because that's definitely kind of on the front end of technology. But then with a twist, with a bonus twist of this seems weird. So I discovered you mentioned investigative journalism, and I found potentially the first case of investigative journalism, and it is by one of the most badass stories I've ever heard of someone named Nellie Bly, who is an Irish-American journalist, and her whole story is badass, pretty much all of it. So her first published piece was because let me figure out the date on this. So, in 1885, Nellie Bly was 20 years old, and somebody wrote an article in a newspaper. And let me see if I can figure out where it's called The Girl Puzzle.
Okay.
And so somebody wrote this. It was a father of 5 girls. And I'll just paraphrase it, but I'll link all these articles. But a father of 5 girls wrote into a newspaper, and he's like, what am I supposed to do with these girls? Like, and I think his premise was they're only good for cooking and for like maintaining the house. What am I supposed to do with all these girls? And so 20-year-old Nellie Bly absolutely responded. And I think she responded as little orphan girl is I think how she responded. But she absolutely eviscerates this dude. And I kind of okay, it's a little long, but I kind of want to read her
Read
response
it.
because it's pretty she goes for it. And this is the beginning. This is her first published piece. So, can they have a full and plenty of this world's goods, realize what it is to be a poor working woman, abiding in one or two bare rooms without fire enough to keep warm, while her threadbare clothes refuse to protect her from wind and cold, and denying herself necessary food that her little ones may not go hungry, fearing the landlord's frown and threat to cast her out and sell what little she has, begging for employment of any kind that she may earn enough to pay for the bare room she calls home. No one to speak kindly or to encourage her, nothing to make life worth living. The pay may in some instances be better, but from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m., except for 30 minutes at noon, she's shut up in a noisy, unwholesome place. When duties are over for the day, when tired limbs and aching head, she hastens sadly to a cheerless home. How eagerly she looks forward to payday, for that little mite means so much at home. Thus, day after day, week after week, sick or well, she labors. She labors on that she may live. What think you of this, butterflies of fashion, ladies of leisure? This poor girl does not win fame by running off with a coachman. She does not hug and kiss a pug dog, nor judge people by their clothes and grammar. And some of them are ladies, perfect ladies, more so than many who have had every advantage. If girls were boys, quickly would it be said, start them where they will. They can, if ambitious, win a name and fortune. How many wealthy and great men could be pointed out who started in the depths? But where are the many women? Let a youth start as an errand boy, and he will work his way up until he's one of the firm. Girls are just as smart, a great deal quicker to learn. Why then can they not do the same? As all occupations for women are filled, why not start some new ones? Instead of putting the little girls in factories, let them be employed in the capacity of messenger boys or office boys. It would be healthier. They would have a chance to learn. Their ideas would become broader as they would make as good, if not better, women in the end. It is asserted by storekeepers the women make the best clerks. Why not then send them out as merchant travelers? They can talk as well as men. At least men claim that it is a noted fact that they talk a great deal more and faster. If their ability at home for selling exceeds a man's, why would it not abroad? Their lives would be brighter, their health better, their pocketbooks fuller, unless their employers would do as now, give them half wages because they're women. A girl was engaged to fill a position that had always been occupied by men, who, for the same, received $2 a day. Her employer stated that he had never had anyone in the same position that was as accurate, speedy, and gave the same satisfaction. However, as she was just a girl, he gave her $5 a week. Some call this equality. Here would be a good field for believers in women's right. Let them forego their lecturing and writing and go to work. More work and less talk. Take some girls that have ability, procure them for situations. Start them on their way, and by so doing, accomplish more than by years of talking. Instead of gathering up the real smart young men, gather up the real smart girls. Pull them out of the mire, give them a shove up the ladder of life, and be amply repaid by both their success and unforgetfulness of those that held out a helping hand. However visionary this may sound, those who are interested in humankind and wonder what it would do with the girls might try it.
That was her
That was
first thing she ever wrote?
that was a response to an article she read in a newspaper. That is the start of Nellie Bly's story. So then, Nellie Bly, after roasting this dude for saying like, "Oh, I have 5 girls. What am I gonna do?" She's like, "Just I can't even. I'm gonna write you a thing about what you can do. There's a lot of things you can do." And she just like roasting him. But the dispatch editor, because this was the Pittsburgh Dispatch, and this is in 1885. This is
1885.
like this is not, oh, this is today that this was written. It could be, it could still be like this would still be powerful today, but this was so long ago that it's just incredible. But the editor was so impressed with the response that he asked for whoever sent this in, who are you? Like, who is this person? So then she went in and she became an apprentice there. And so apparently her pen name is Nellie Bly. That's not like her original name. Um,
Okay.
she was born Elizabeth Jane Cochran. Um, but then she would essentially start being a journalist, and she wrote a bunch of, and I mean it's sad, funny, everything at the same time. They liked her response to this editor. They hired her, and then they're like, okay, you can write women's articles. So like it was like how divorce affected women, women factory workers. Which first of all, it's still it's hard to not look at history with the lens of now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's still progressive enough because like they were concerned about like what is the
At least
effect
they were
of
writing something for women.
yeah, they're writing stuff about women's perspective from a woman's perspective. So
Yeah.
it's I don't want to get too like, oh, we're super woke now and you guys were idiots. But like still she was talking about like kind of let people do what they're going to do and don't like pigeonhole. And she kind of gets pigeonholed, but she refuses as a person. So she wrote a series of investigative articles on women and factory workers. So she was essentially trying to do exposés. And that's what I was saying is it's like she would really dig in and try and find this stuff. Investigative journalism was kind of her thing. And she was getting complaints because the factory owners were like, you can't just tell people we're treating people bad. So she was assigned to the women's pages to cover fashion in society. She would later spend 6 months as a special correspondent in Mexico, where she protested the imprisonment of a local journalist and had to flee the country for criticizing the government. Like I'm telling you, just badass story after badass story with this woman. So she later left her original paper and she joined the staff of the New York World, and she was there for 11 years. So her editor told her, or owner and manager actually, try to find something sensational, something that would push the edge. And maybe her most famous thing she did was she faked mental illness to be put into an asylum
Oh my God.
to try to check how people in asylums were being treated. Not only
What?
did she do this for 10 days to try and find out how badly people in an asylum were being mistreated. And first of all, talk about this is the thing that I thought was spooky, because me trying to imagine what a 1900 like right around 1900 asylum would
Nope.
be like.
Mm-mm.
No, thank you. I'm out.
What if
I'm
they like were like,
100% out.
she needs a lobotomy. Just gonna do that.
Yeah,
They're
no,
gonna
they
force
would
it.
do that.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. It's
nuts.
terrifying.
Yeah, no, thank you. But she literally wrote a book called 10 Days in a Madhouse that you can read now. You can read Nellie Bly's like experience doing all this, but literally because she did this, it led to a grand jury investigation, and there was reform of asylums and mental health facilities because she did this. But like, okay, here's one of her quotes from it. They inject so much morphine and chloral that the patient are made crazy. I have seen the patients wild for water from the effect of the drugs, and the nurses would refuse it to them. I've heard women beg for a whole night for one drop, and it was not given to them. I myself cried for water until my mouth was so parched and dry that I could not speak. So she went into the belly of the beast and absolutely tried to expose the mistreatment there, and it worked. She like shone a light on this thing, and it became something that people looked at. So yeah, she would throughout after this, she would continue to find abuses in institutions and undercover, and kind of was one of the most amazing investigative journalists I've ever heard of. So for kind of her final kind of arc in her life, she read Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne.
It's a good book.
And decided that she was going to try and do this.
Oh,
She
okay.
wanted to go faster than him. So she wanted to take a balloon around the world. And she broke the record. She did it in 72 days, which first of all,
So she didn't just try to do it; she actually did it.
yeah, she did it, and she broke the record. So instead of Around the World in 80 days, Around the World in 72 days is also
Wow.
a book that you could check out. So then she had like a rival and everything that she was trying to do this with, but then she went back to journalism, covered World War One, continued to highlight women's issues, and kind of the saddest part of this is she died of pneumonia at 57, because she died in 1922, so it's like there was no version of what we consider medicine now, but it's honestly, everything I was reading about her story, each one would kind of blow my mind. Each different level of what she was doing would blow my mind. And then the original thing of just roasting somebody for being an idiot in an article is a great way to do it.
No, she sounds awesome. So I got one more discovery for this week. It's my spooky Halloween discovery for
Spooky time.
for this week for Todd's. So this one, it's just so unsettling. It's not like a ghost or anything, but it's just unsettling. Little girl terrified after hackers take over camera and tell her I'm Santa. An 8-year-old girl has been left terrified after a hacker took over her bedroom camera and told her that he was Santa before asking, "Don't you want to be best friends?"
Oh,
It's so
what?
bad. The girl's family from DeSoto County, Tennessee, who was also left frightened when they realized that the camera which is used for them to keep an eye on their children. This is a Ring camera. This is not like some cheap camera that
Rings are notorious for this being a problem.
apparently had been tapped into. According to the Mirror, which is I guess the local magazine or whatever. The family installed a Ring camera in Alyssa's room for 4 days before it got hacked. It only took 4 days.
4 whole days. Yeah, Ring has issues. Another one of those things that, in theory, great. In practicality, there's some issues.
On the camera recording, Alyssa can be heard because they have the recording of this because it's a Ring camera.
Sure.
You can hear her asking, "Who is that?" before the guy replies, "I'm your best friend." She shouts for her mom, and the man adds, "I'm Santa Claus. Don't you want to be best friends?"
Oh, I don't like whoever this hacker is. Like, get out of here. That's a little kid.
The little girl is then taunted with strange music before the man tells her, "You can mess up your room. You can break your TV. You can do whatever you want." The little girl is even quoted, I guess the news people interviewed her. "I was in the hallway and thought it was my sister because I hear music. It's like tiptoe through the window. So I come upstairs and I hear some banging noises and I'm like,
you
who
played
is
Tiny
that?"
Tim?
Apparently.
I don't like this guy.
No, this
Whoever this
guy's
guy is,
the
I don't
worst.
like him.
And of course, the mom sees the horrible things that could have happened. She's like, they could have watched her sleeping, changing. They could have seen all kinds of things. It's terrifying.
Did she take the camera out of her daughter's room?
I'm pretty sure the camera's not there anymore. But I do love the Ring response because the Ring did have a response to it.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. About how it's not actually, Ring's very safe.
Yeah,
Don't
we
worry,
go.
everybody.
This is the statement that Ring gave. "Customers' trust is important to us, and we take the security of our devices seriously. While we are still investigating this issue and are taking appropriate steps to protect our devices based on our investigation, we are able to confirm that this incident is no way related to a breach or compromise of Ring security."
It seems like it is.
And the reason that they have is because the mom hadn't set up the 2-factor authentication yet. So that was their reasoning as to why they think it was the mom's fault and not their fault.
That's it's very convenient. I mean, first of all, it is better to have 2-factor, but I don't know how they're convinced that that's what it was. So they're saying that they just guessed her password or they fished her for her password.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I'd like to see that they know that happened and that she wasn't hacked.
Anyway, super creepy, super weird. It goes very much along with next week's podcast. With the whole.
If you want, I
creepy
can
stuff.
lighten it up a little bit.
Lighten
I
it up.
saw for a final. I saw that there's a movie coming out called Fat Man, I think is what it's called, and it is a dark comedy about, I think, Santa, who is played by Mel Gibson,
What?
has some debt problems. So he has to start working with a paramilitary group for something and start trying to make some money. And then a little 12-year-old who gets pissed off at Santa because he gave him a lump of coal in his stocking hires a hitman to kill Santa. So just complete ridiculousness, and that's coming out.
That sounds ridiculous.
Walton Goggins is the hitman, so I mean it should be good.
Okay. Well, yeah, that is all of the time that we have for this week. We had a lot of discoveries, and we are excited to discover some new things and bring them to you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And we will talk to you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Sweet. We did it. And since I'm already on this computer, I don't have to break the stream.
Yeah, no, you won't have to. The only benefit that there is so far, and I guess it doesn't really matter for YouTube, is it separates the gaming from the actual podcast part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, if you were to play music, it could.
I mean, we would need to cut that out anyway, right? Technically.
What?
The gaming part, because we want to put the gaming part into the podcast episode.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is like when we would switch, you didn't have to like cut anything. It was like the PDS gaming was its own thing. Like PDS plays was on after the PDS live. But it doesn't matter. I'm not saying you should switch it. I'm just saying that's the benefit.
If I switch and then go right back live, it should still do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it won't be switching near as much stuff as when you go off.
Oh no. No, it'll literally just be.
All right, cool. All right, well then, everyone in the chat, we will be right back in just a few minutes. We are going to get everything set up for some games. I don't know what game we're playing yet. We have a lot of friends that we're hoping to play with. So, with that said, we will see you in just a few minutes. Same bat place, same bat time. Meaning just a few minutes. All right.